There, I'm RB Kelly. Welcome to the Communication Club. Today we're going to talk about leaning. Now, we move closer to things we like. We move away from things we don't like. And sometimes this can be extreme, like, oh my, or ugh. And sometimes it might be subtle, just. So you want to notice how people are leaning, because sometimes you deal with people who have something of a poker face, almost, where they're not sending any signals, positive or negative. You're not sure how they're feeling, but while they may be controlling their face, usually they're not controlling their leaning. So what you want to do, you want to notice who's leaning in, who's leaning out. Now, of course, there's no one cue that means the same thing for all people all the time. So don't be an idiot. Don't think that, oh, I saw this one cue, which means this person obviously feels this way. No, you use these cues and you put them together to build a more accurate picture of what someone is feeling. So if you see someone leaning in with a negative facial expression, those are conflicting cues. Leaning in typically means interest, but contempt, yeah, well, you learned what that means. So you always want to look for two or more cues that agree with each other. So if I saw leaning back and contempt, then I'd be pretty sure the person does not like what they're hearing. And I would know that they have some objections that I have to solve if I want them to buy. But if I saw someone leaning in and giving me a real smile, these are two positive cues, so I can clearly tell this is something they like. They are engaged. So you want to look for leaning in your clients. Leaning in, typically a good thing. Leaning out, typically not quite a good thing. Doesn't always mean it's negative, but it's usually not quite a good thing. All right? So, 1, look for leaning. 2, use leaning in your presentations. When you want to show someone you're about to say something serious, you want to lean in and drop your voice. When you want to show someone you're listening, you want to lean in and then throw in a head tilt like you learned in video 1. So these are 2 ways you can use leaning to increase the intimacy in the conversation, to make them feel like you're listening, and to tell when people are in or when they're out. Now you can also use leaning by leaning away. For example, when you're getting ready to end the conversation, that's a great time to start leaning away, start increasing your distance, and then start pointing in the other direction. So with that, I'll see you next week.